Good morning, y'all, and welcome back to our channel. We're happy to have you here. Tucker, can you cut that off, please? Thank you. Just hold on a minute. If you are new here, my name is Katrina, and this is Raising Up Rogers. I am a mom of 8 kiddos, and I'm a military wife. And we are actually in preparation for PCSing, which means we will be moving soon, really soon. We're less than 60 days out. And I have to say that I am quite a procrastinator. I work better under pressure. And so I know that we have 1,000 things that need to be done. Like if you see our homeschool area behind me, we have 8. Yeah, Owen's a kid. So we have so much stuff that really needs to be packed up, gone through with less than 60 days. And, you know, I'm trying to fight that procrastination bug that I have. And so that's what we're going to do today. We are going to be, hey, that's not yours. We are going to be spending some time this morning trying to get things cleaned up a little bit. I guess going through, making sure that we file all the papers, get rid of the curriculum we know that we're not going to continue to use. Donate the things that we no longer need, and try to tackle this living room first. So first, oh my gosh, he just dropped a dice in my coffee cup. Wow. Thank you. Can you get down? Oops. It's not Monday, but it feels like whenever you get that out of there with a spoon. So anyway, that's what we're going to do today. I'm also videoing or doing this video at the same time as our meal plan video. So this morning we had oatmeal for breakfast. We will have hot dogs for lunch. And I think we're going to be varying our meal plan for dinner. So anyway, we'll talk about that in the other video. But we have so much to do, so I would really like to, you just need to wait a minute. I would really like to get this stuff cleaned out because like the toy bin over here is just overrun with things that could be donated or, you know, put up. I was laying in bed last night and I was thinking to myself, you know, the kids have 2 bins in their room of toys they never play with. There is a whole bin of toys in here in the living room that they never play with. So I really want to go through and make the determination. Hey, can you wait a minute? Can you wait a minute until I'm finished? Okay, thank you. Tucker likes to vacuum, so... anyway, so we're going to try to tackle some of this. It's about 9:45 right now. Let's see how much we can get done today. I'm feeling better already. so we have made a little bit of progress. I have cleaned out my cart. We have 2 bags of trash. All of these shelves were full. I have gotten rid of the books. I have gotten rid of the books that I know that we don't want. Now the shelf just has the work that they have left, plus our PCS information and the last few chapters of their English. Here is the keys, the test keys and stuff that I'll use for the rest of this year. And just a little bit more of the Abeka work that they had. I just brought the flashcards and stuff over here and got them all put back together. And all the papers have been put in the correct spot. So everything pretty much has been cleaned out. I donated some of the curriculum, the Abeka curriculum I know we won't use again. I put all of our flashcards at the bottom. And we've cleaned off our calendar. We'll probably put January's calendar up here just so we can keep track of what we're going to be cleaning. This is the work that they've done all year, so I have to go through and file what I was planning to keep. So all of this still needs to be graded. So I will do that later and then get those put in the filing cabinet in their correct drawers. Excuse me. So that's pretty much what we've gotten done so far. In this corner, Kenzie also straightened up the shelf for me to make it easier for me to go through and figure out what we're going to donate, which we have donated a lot of our books already. So I don't think there's going to be too much more that we're going to donate. Tucker, could you please stop blowing that? Okay, so I do need to tackle the top of this shelf up here, figure out what I'm going to do with all of that stuff, and then see if there's anything else that we want to get rid of. So that's where we are right now. I mean, it didn't take that long, but we still have a little bit more to do. So we have had a very productive day today. We got some of the homeschool area cleaned out, and some of the things we went through them, made some donations. We threw away things that we knew we were no longer going to use, and I went through the papers that I had, threw away the papers I knew that I wasn't going to keep, and I reorganized all the papers and assignments that they have left for this year. So they only have about 6 weeks of school left, and so I am really trying to start making sure that we can accomplish the things that we want to accomplish towards the end of the year, as well as get all the other things done that we need to do in order to have a successful move. So I just wanted to take some time right now to sit down and kind of like give some insight on what I hope our 2023 looks like in our home, in our homeschool, for this YouTube channel. I know that the ideas that I have right now are pretty contingent on what happens like in the next 6 weeks, 6 to 8 to 10 weeks, because we do have this big move coming up and life will change dramatically when we get where we're going. We've never lived on an island out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. A very small island. So things are going to change. So what I have, thought about and prayed about for our year, I know that right now I'm giving myself grace just to say that this is, what I'm hoping for the next 6 to 10 weeks, as we get prepared to move, make our move, and then start settling down in our house. When our new house, which we don't even have yet. We have no idea where we will be living. But, so that will kind of change whenever we get there. We will reevaluate what our goals are, and we will see where we go. But this is some of the things that I just wanted to talk about right now for January, February, March, going into April. So I just wanted to share that with you here. Okay, so I have some notes here that I have been preparing for about the last week. As I've been thinking through this this time in our lives, and the first thing that I wanted to talk about is, a lot of people come up with a word for the year, and we have done that for the last few years. We have worked through serving, committing, surrender. Last year was transform, transforming by the renewing of your mind. But I was really trying to find something that would help us kind of like recenter our lives, our homeschool, our home, that kind of thing. So I really kept feeling like God was telling us that it was time for us to cultivate everything in our home, because for a long time, like our home and our homeschool, we just think about raising these children and like raising them up to be godly individuals who want to serve the Lord and be a service to other people. And so I really want to get back to that. I want to get back to the good things about family, and the good things about homeschooling and being a homemaker, and how joyous that is. And so I just kept hearing the word cultivate, and I know that, we're not raising crops, but I think that it is important to have that same mindset of planting the seeds and, making sure that they have the right kind of fertilizer and, the watering every day, and just making sure that we learn to put the best into our everyday situations, so that we can have the fruit that God calls us to have, So as I have been thinking about that is where we ended up. So this year we're going to be cultivating our home and our hearts, to recenter things back towards the real goal of what Len and I, wanted for our family. So the verse that we have this year is Philippians 4, verse 8 and 9. So It's finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Whatever you have learned or received or heard from me or seen in me, put it into practice, and the God of peace will be with you. So that is kind of the idea that we have this year, where we want to think on those things that God has called us to do. We want to cultivate those things in our heart to make sure that what we're putting in to our home, what we're putting into our family, what we are putting into ourselves helps to bring about those lovely and pure things that God calls us to. So that's pretty much the basis for the year. And that's pretty much, it's very difficult to do in the stressful times. Like I said, I'm not stressed right now because I'm a procrastinator, but I know that the stress is coming. I know that the short tempers will come. If you are a military spouse, you know what I mean when you anticipate something happening and it is just not going to go that way. Like I already know that this is just not going to work out the way that it should, because it never does. The military lifestyle is a great lifestyle. It's just hard to navigate. But I do have to say that thanks to God, so far things have been pretty smooth, and that is very strange because there's 10 of us that they're getting ready to move, a long way away. So everything to this point has been very, very smooth. So we've had to change dates around, and we have had to, make changes already, personal changes, not military. Like, they didn't come and tell us that we needed to change things. We decided to change our dates of when we would leave and where we would leave from and that kind of stuff. And they have been accommodating so far. So that is a blessing, because things usually do not work out that way. And we have PCS overseas before, and I guess maybe it's not this stressful this time because we've done it. And I would think that I would be more stressed out because we have 8 kids to fly with. But I think we've done enough planning and praying, and we can constantly talk to the kids about it. I even have a PowerPoint that we keep going over, about sleeping in an airport and all these things that we know we will probably have to do. But I'm just hoping that through this whole experience that we will be able to cultivate that purity of mind and heart, and be reminded that this is a first experience for all of us. We've never been to an island out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and so I just want to make sure that we begin cultivating our hearts now to prepare us for what God has in store for us coming in the next 6 weeks. So that's kind of where we are with that. I really want to keep that in the forefront of our minds. So, we will be having the kids memorize the verse so that we can go over it over and over again. Because we have found in our family that memorizing scripture really does help to recenter our family. If we can, read through verses together that we know have a special place that God has put in our lives at that time, it really does help them to calm down and help us to, gather back together as a family. So we'll be working on that to make sure that they are just as prepared for what is to come as we are. Okay, so I have some things here that I wanted to talk about. First, I guess, will be the home, because, you know, that is the center of everything here. And while things are very crazy right now and they're not the norm for our house, it is my goal to try to bring some normalcy to our house while we have all these things going on. And in doing that, you know, I think I said in another video, in our meal plan video, that I really wanted to just simplify things for the next 6 weeks, you know, and, you know, simplify our meals and simplify the things that we have in our house to take care of. We already have a list of obligations that we have in order to, you know, get out of this house. And so we need to start checking those off the list. I just want to make sure that we are sticking to the schedule. You know, I don't want, if we do things in an orderly fashion and, you know, in a good time frame, then it will help us later on down the line not be frustrated and not, you know, be so stressed out about the things that we should have gotten done. So I know I've said it a few times that I am a procrastinator. I work better under pressure. My mind just, you know, can think through things more easily than that. So I have been learning this last year to teach myself to plan for things. As our kids have gotten older and Len was deployed from October to April of last year, I really learned to plan so that I could leave, you know, our kids here to do things without me having to supervise everything that they do, to make sure that everything got done, even if, you know, I had to take one of the kids across the street, you know, to drop them off at the youth center or, you know, whatever. So I've been very intentional about trying to plan homeschool and doing all these things. And one of the big things that I really want to do is to take a more minimalist approach to how we do things in our home. Thankfully, the kids and Len have been on board with this, and we have really gotten rid of quite a few things. So I don't remember if it was in any of our previous videos, but we took a lot of our furniture back to our home state, to his parents' house, because we did not want to travel with all of the furniture. We know that our house that we get, no matter what house it is going to be much smaller than the one that we live in now. So we have already been trying to take that minimalist approach to the things that we have in our home, the things that we can live without. And so that has been really good for us. Like, I really want to cultivate that idea that that less is more, and we don't have to have everything in order to do what God calls us to do. So that has been one of the major things, is being able to get rid of the things that we really, you know, don't need. So it has been a selection process of, do we really use this? Is this just something we have because everybody else has it? And that has been really eye-opening, because there are a lot of things that we prefer to do without, but we still, you know, use, or used. I guess we got rid of a lot of it. But compared to other people, like, you know, you have to take into consideration the weight of your household whenever you're PCSing, and we are going to be well below the weight limit for the number of people that we have in our house. Another thing that I wanted to make sure that we do in our home is to be just intentional with everything that we have coming up. So to be intentional about packing properly and being intentional about making sure that everybody has what they need in the right baggage, because we have to have, baggage to take with us on the plane. We have unaccompanied baggage that they will come and pick up that will be delivered, a couple weeks after we get there. And then we have our household goods, which won't be delivered for months. That's our furniture and stuff like that. So we'll be living without those things for quite a while. So I just want to make sure that we, understand what we can and cannot live without, because we will be living without some things for a few months. And that's nothing new, but with 10 people, it's a little bit different than it was when there was just 5 of us, when we only had 3 kids. So we have already begun, talking about all of those things and cleaning out bedrooms so we can go ahead and start organizing things into our separate shipments. But so that's a big thing that I have to work through, and to make sure that I stay calm and just, I don't want it to be a stressful time. I just want it to be a productive time where we know that God is sending us somewhere else, and here is the best way that we can get there, And so our home for the next few weeks is going to be a place where we really learn what we need. And I think that's important. Okay, so for our homeschool, that's a little bit different. For right now, in the next few weeks, I hope to just cultivate a love of learning, because we are really scaling back our homeschool, and they are putting their subjects aside. They do need to finish their math and their English, but everything else we are pretty much going to put on hold for the next little while, and we'll just be learning by experience. There's always opportunity to do science and history and art and music and all of those things in everyday life. So we will just be really learning how to do more with less. So I'm hoping that it will open up our days for them to be able to understand how important it is for us to work together as a team during this PCS season. So I guess we're going to cultivate some teamwork in cleaning this house and packing our stuff. And they've done a really good job, though, of getting their schoolwork done. So you never finish a school book in the schoolhouse anyway. And so it really didn't bother me that much. They have completed, we started school in July, so they're almost done anyway. But I really need the books to be put up and not all over the place. So I was just like, let's just do our math and our English, and that will be good. How that works out when we get where we're going, I don't know. But we will discuss that, whether or not we'll pick up where we started, which I know they'll pick up on their Spanish and that kind of stuff, because they need to finish those classes, but we're going to hold off on those right now. And I also know that in the next coming year, we have already decided, what curriculum we're going to get rid of and what curriculum we're going to stick with, because that's one of the major things that I have learned, is to just focus on what works and use the best resource to give you the outcome that you want. And I am really trying to focus on reaching these kids for Christ. And I do not need a rigorous academic set of lessons to do that. I really want them to enjoy learning, and I really want them to enjoy helping one another in learning and sharing ideas and that kind of stuff. So it's going to be less of the book work and more of the free time to explore, the kind of things that they want to do. And I'm glad that we will have the freedom to do that in Guam. There is no, homeschool expectations there. So we have gotten to that point where we can kind of go back to a more minimalist type of homeschooling and just let our days be more enjoyable rather than sitting around a table with a textbook every day. And I'm really excited for that, because our personal goal is to raise our kids for Christ, not to raise our kids for Harvard. So I really, we sat down and we talked about it, the character building and the service and those kind of things are really what we want to focus on with our kids, not making sure they can do 100 math problems in a day, or making sure that they can write a 10-page paper by 7th grade. Like, that's just not what I am trying to do. So I already know that we'll be going back to some of the old curriculum that we used to use and put away some of the choices that I made this year. And I'm really excited about that, because I really want our time in Guam to be a time of reflection and a time of togetherness. When we leave Guam, Jaxton will be, an adult. And that is an eye-opening experience to know that you are so close to that end mark, because we live in PCS terms as a military family, and so you live PCS to PCS, and we know that time is not a long time. It goes really quickly. And so when we leave there, he will be an adult. And that is something that I am grieving right now and working through. But it has reminded me that cultivating this season of cultivation and teaching our kids what we really want them to know is so important right now, because I don't have that much longer to do it. So I really want to get back to that in our homeschool, to prepare them for life, for what God has called them to do, not what the world calls them to do. So that is my number one goal for our homeschool, is to be more intentional with our days and to raise them for what God has called them to do. Okay, so to talk about some personal goals, that is a little bit of a different thing. I don't always set personal goals for myself, just because I'm so busy doing everything for everybody else, setting goals for everybody else. But I did set some personal goals for myself this year. First of all, I would like to drink more water, and I have been, actually. I have been drinking much more water than I ever have before. And I don't know, I kind of just fell into it, and I feel better, and I know that God has really kind of like taken over that, because it was hard for me to drink water, and but it really wasn't that difficult to start whenever I made that decision at the beginning of the year. And I'm very proud of that, because I know that God is guiding me in that. And so, but another thing that I would like to do is to be more intentional about the exercise and the sleep. We started exercising last year together as a family, and we were running some 5Ks. And then one of our 5Ks, we went out to run, and it was pouring down rain, and it was actually hailing on our car. And so we didn't get a run that day. And when they rescheduled that run, we were not available. We were out of town. And so we haven't done a 5K since then. And so that's something that I really want to get back into. I was actually looking today at some of the 5Ks they have available at the base. And this month and next month that I'll probably have Len sign us up for, just so we can get back out there. You know, we have that new Wonderfold stroller, and I haven't taken it for a run. I probably should do that. I'm not sure how it is running. I really like the Wonderfold stroller, and I think it would be great for doing 5Ks, you know, because if Reid and Mallory get tired, they can hop in the Wonderfold with Tucker and Owen. But yeah, so that's one of the main things that I really want to start doing, and that's just something really easy that we can do that doesn't have anything to do with PCSing. It doesn't have anything to do with anything else, cleaning or whatever. We just go out as a family and run. You know, we were walking every day, and then it got kind of cold, but it's starting to warm up again to where we can start walking again when Len comes home. Now that will be something that we are able to follow along with after we get to Guam, because the weather is a little bit different there. It's going to be 80 degrees, you know, give or take, just a little bit all year long. And, you know, unless it's raining, the rainy season, we should be able to do our exercise every day. We also, McKinsey and I, we're going to start doing some of the Apple exercises with Apple Fitness. So I would like to really get back into doing that as well. We are also planning to go back to our whole foods diet that we had about a year ago. We were on a whole foods diet with less sugar. And so that is our plan. When we finish cleaning out our freezer this week, the meal plan that I have for next week is much more whole foods, no sugar, low carb, friendly. So, and I'm really excited to get back to the, you know, the meat, vegetables, and that kind of thing. I just felt so much better whenever I ate that way. And it seems that I have gained quite a bit of weight since we have been eating that way. And I would just like to be able to, you know, feel better and be able to do more things with the kids without being so tired all the time. Also, I made a choice this year. I don't want to do a read through the Bible in a year plan anymore. And, you know, I have done the Bible read-throughs in a year. You know, I have done focusing on the New Testament and the Old Testament. But this year, I really wanted to use a book that's been on our shelf for a long time. It's called Women of the Bible. And I do not know how long I've had this book, but it has been quite a while. I've read some of it, little pieces here and there, as I've been trying to talk to McKinsey about things. But I really want to focus on reading more of this book and the passages of scripture that go along with this book to find out more about what God sees in a woman and what their biblical examples are. So I'm really excited about picking this book up. I had already put it on the list for homeschool for McKinsey next year. And then I thought to myself, well, if she's going to do this for homeschool next year, you kind of should have read it already, you know, to know what it is that she's going to be learning. So it's arranged A to Z for easy study. It's in-depth biographies for true character study. And so it's just the life and times of every woman in the Bible. So it just goes through all the women in the Bible, like Jephthah's daughter, Michal. Let's see who else is in here. Sarah. So it's a whole book of the women in the Bible. When they live, the historical significance, their role in scripture, the scripture references. So that's what I'm going to spend the year doing. I'm not going to set a time frame. I just want to enjoy God's word and really see where he leads me, not try to finish the book in a year or anything like that. I really just want to just go wherever the Lord leads me and be able to have that talk with McKinsey as she works through this book this year. So that's my plan is to read through scripture along with that book. And so that's pretty much it. I don't think I have any other personal goals besides cultivating all these things and reminding myself of what the goal is. So I don't know, I'm trying to be more transparent and more open about my faith and how we do things as a family. So all of that, I guess, goes into it. Just cultivating that lovely, commendable spirit that the Lord calls us to have. Lastly is we have some goals for YouTube. I have goals for YouTube. I really just want to post more content. The kids really enjoy seeing our family on the internet. And so it has become more of a photo album, or I guess a video album, more than anything else. You know, I enjoy talking to y'all and I enjoy sharing our life with y'all, but I enjoy it even more when the kids look back at the videos that we did even 2 years ago and they're like, oh my goodness, you know, I remember that and look at how little they were. And, you know, so it's really been a joy sharing our lives in a way that we can go back and see it in real time, you know, the things that we went through. We want to be an example of what a family can be, and we are a military family. When we started out, there weren't that many families that I knew in the military with as many children as us. Now, I still don't know as many families with children as many as we have, but I do know some of my friends who, through this journey, have added children of their own. And I, you know, would like to think that it is because of my encouragement and my example. I don't know. I'm really thankful that I do know people who are not so keen on having a lot of children, who now embrace their bigger families. Because this is one of the most rewarding things, and I could not imagine having any other family than the one that I have, you know. And we have 8 kiddos. Don't know what's coming up in the future, but it's a real nice experience to be able to share it here with our YouTube family and be able to keep up with everything that we're doing and make it real, make it, you know, an example. Yeah, that's really just kind of where we are, you know. We just want to cultivate that love of life and learning and friendship and, you know, just showing who we really are and, you know, letting that be what God makes it. And so this should be an exciting year for our family. A lot of big changes coming, but I'm super excited about it. And we are ready. And I'm so glad that we do get this opportunity to share it with you guys on YouTube. So I really appreciate y'all continuing to watch our videos. I am trying to upload more content. There's going to be all kinds of content because we're PCSing. And we have so many projects to finish. And then you have homeschooling things that need to get done and meal planning. And I'm just trying to show how we can get it all done in the next 6 weeks. So I am enjoying that. So y'all just keep a lookout for those videos. If you haven't already subscribed, just hit that button. You can hit the bell and get notifications for our new videos. And we appreciate you following us. This is a new experience for us, and we are excited to share everything that's coming up with all of you guys. So just keep watching and see how things go, and we'll see you next time.